we got some spicy content from the community of Monster Hunter, and it sucks because we are like less than a week away from actually getting a proper drop of the live stream of Title Update 2, much less like even the actual thing coming out. So let's just go ahead and what the fuck is happening with my phone? Where essentially the what I'm looking at this because I love the franchise and I want to see how Kino what Kino's take is because I'm not trying to I'm talking too much. Let's just get into it and then share our opinion. Wilds does not deserve the negative review bomb which happened within the 24 hours. Which again, let's see. Let's look it up. Steam. Like again, like it's really crazy that for whatever reason, it's overwhelmingly negative. But since in the recent posts, of course, like people are. What do you mean no longer boot up? So we'll have to check that later. But it looks like I know it looks like an overwhelming review bomb. But let's see. Like so far, it looks to be concerns. Like this number. This is helpful to where like they want to address the concerns of PC like optimization. But the biggest issue that comes from this is that it's not a good representation of the community because you have to remember that this game is launched on multiple consoles, and to have a working system costs at least let's see because like there's a point to this. Monster Hunter Wilds console, it plays on PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S. Let's see price because like the lowest price point that you can get into playing this game with, let's see, PlayStation 5 prices, because like the lowest price you can get in order to get into the Monster Hunter Wilds, your base price is roughly $400 at Best Buy. What about Xbox 5, Xbox XS? At the lowest minimum pricing, it looks to be like 600, 300 for the S. So already at like the fact that this game is marketed to 3 companies, the lowest price you get is like roughly $400 just to play this game. So those consoles have been optimized to play games like these. But the problem with PC building when it comes to playing this game on your computer is the problem where not everybody has the income to make a computer that can work with it. Hell, the graphics card alone that I had to pay for could have chipped into a new console to play the game. The the 4060 alone costs it costs close to the price of a PlayStation 5, and that's just to upgrade my computer to support the system, and I still need to pay more money for RAM. So, if you want to get into the game alone, the issue comes where it's a price point problem. So this is a first world problem to where you don't have the system required to play this game. And so for people to negatively review this game in the past 24 hours because of a price gate is wildly a problem. Wildly huge problem. But that's my take on it, to where that's where it is. Call me a shill all you want because I absolutely do love the franchise, but I understand the whole performance problem part and why many would feel this way. I get that, and even more constructive arguments. like again, like it's understandable to where I love this game. I've played it on the 3DS personally. I stopped at Monster Hunter 4 on the DS. Realistically, I only stopped that game because um, I had better things to do at that time during 2015, 2014, 2016. I had other things to do. But also what kept me going within when we played Worlds was the fact that I had the ability to play with other people if I needed help. Otherwise, just the form factor on a console and PC is much better for me and my hands than a portable device. That's what kept me playing it over the years, is because of the accessibility that a rig does. Whether it be PlayStation 4 when I got into Worlds, or PC when we get into Wilds, or even like Rise. Uh, but reading through the review bombing and majority being not actually valid critiques to no content, again, because you're being upset about a game that is literally months old. It's like it's from the end of February to June. You're complaining that there's no content because you sped run the game when it's a dating sim almost, and there's side quests that you can do. There's fashion hunting, but it's really funny. Wilds has content, and at most Monster Hunter games nowadays space out titles to keep the game refreshed. And I know so many people posting on the internet who speed through the game and claim about no content. I feel like the number one group of people who do complain about, oh, there's no content, are people who are attached to the idea. Is there multiple pictures? Are attached to the idea of forever games, because we have the pill of forever games from Destiny, from MOBAs, from League of Legends. Hell, my brother's forever game is MapleStory, and he jumps onto Wilds. But the moment he's done with Wilds, he goes back to his forever game because there's a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of ways to enrich your time in playing Wilds. You have 14 weapons, plus Akuma, so 15. You have 15 possible weapons you can master, and if you feel bored about the game with one weapon, you have the option to completely change your experience by picking the other 13 weapons, plus Akuma. And before you scream, you never played other Monster Hunter games. Yeah, both of us have experience in Monster Hunter games. I've played Monster Hunter since 2012 because that's when I got introduced to the 3DS Monster Hunter's Try. If you leave negative review, put actual input, because the stress that Kino is making is that I don't care if you have a bad opinion, if you feel negative about a product, just give constructive criticism, much like React videos. You have to give something for people to work with to understand your point of concern. Otherwise, you're simply noise that does not move the point, does not move the conversation. Be reasonable, not a period. A one symbol, a negative bomb for Haas. We go through this with World. Why does this happen again? It's happening again because we live in a society to where we want content. Give me content now. I paid $40 for it, and the perspective of what a $40, a $60, a $70 game vastly changes to where a person's enjoyment may feel like their experience is based on how many hours the game provides you. Heck, if people have played one playthrough of Expedition 33, which can be 40 hours, can be give or take the amount of hours of that based on the price point, They are gonna. I guarantee they will have so much of an experience because that's Expedition 33. That the content is extremely dense. Monster Hunter World Wilds is an extremely dense game that people don't feel the urge to make the most of it. Oh, you have a problem using greatsword? Let's switch to a hammer. Oh, hammer is getting a little unga and bunga. Switch to switch axe or a charge blade. You have 13 other weapons and Akuma to deal with and use within your experience of Monster Hunter. It is. I do agree, Keto. This is sad to see on the feed. Oh no. Let's broadcast your point. We've got a society that wants content and wants it now. They it's almost like because that's some people have the luxury to speed through the game over the weekend and expect it to be there forever game like Maple Story. And I'm only picking on Maple Story because I'm at that age to where I was around it. I was around it when my brother played it. He still plays it, and I only bring it up not only to like raise awareness at its game, but it's an easy example for me when discussing like this concern. But what do the comments say? Because I feel like people, it's a situation where people expect the people pay $60 and $70, and so they expect 60 to 600 hours of content. When the reality is, you can technically do that if you play through the game with other weapons, because a lot of these people may go through greatsword or the unga bunga weapons, or these are FPS players using the bow gun, the heavy bow gun, the bow, and think, oh, where's more content? Because I did everything. I somehow did crossplay, and I somehow got help playing Nergigante. Not Nergigante. What is it? What is it? I got help much more than I have during Worlds, and it's a funny situation where you're complaining about a game that's barely lived, who has at least beaten the lifespan that Concord has. So just give this game a chance. We only just received this game in February, and people didn't complain about that when people played through Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden was a tight experience, and I don't know what you want out of Wilds. Let's go through the comments and let's see the tweets. About content is kind of true, but in a wrong way. Mostly because there's almost no farming at all. It's easy to get out of the decorations and whatever material you want. That is true, but here's the thing: like it's really too easy to obtain everything you need. That is a lie. There's been instances to where I personally feel Like some gems are difficult to make, are difficult to farm. There's definitely a situation where some plates they almost give you plates and tails like it's a bargain sale, but that is the point of the initial like launch. It's the idea of giving people a tight experience to go into high rank, because like I mentioned the last time we discussed this was in world. A lot of people didn't finish the game because the main game content kept people from getting to the end, to getting through the content. To what I will probably say, I feel like they should have baked high rank into the main story content, and we should have seen the credits at the end of high rank, not at the end of low rank. That's what I feel like that's happening, because where they moved, I feel like they should have moved the line of interest, which is the credits, further down. But also like, because that's just how I feel. But I do agree where there's less farming than there has been during Try, during Rise, during, well, I don't know about Rise because I haven't really finished Rise to really make my opinion yet. But there's less grinding here than there is during Worlds. And for a lot of people, people skipped Rise because it wasn't a mainline title. Monster Hunter Rise is considered to be a experimental phase that then gave us a Sekirei. Because Rise is of a group of games within Monster Hunter that gives you a game to just essentially like keep busy with until the mainline content, which is Worlds. Worlds is canonically the 5th title, and Wild is canonically the 6th title. And you can tell that based on the logos, to where you can count the number of dragon heads, and in World's title, in the World's logo, you can count 5 heads. Wilds, you can count 6, yada yada. But I do agree with Kino that this makes sense for a lot for seasoned hunters. Yeah, because again, that's just like the grindy bit is what we acknowledge and expected as a longtime player. For those who are new to Monster Hunter, it's great for someone to ease into what they aren't used to, the heavy farming and grinding. And let me tell you, farming Gormagala is a stress. I got the game from my older brother who hasn't played a PC game, let alone games like Monster Hunter. Easy for him to get into without being too confused, especially the grind. And especially because I liked that bow guns and heavy bow guns have a similar UI to that of shooters. So that's easy for someone when their main, since like because they reference Counter-Strike. He's still going through the story in his pace, getting to learn and feel the game on his own. He gets to learn at his own pace. I get it with seasoned hunters such as ourselves, but the learning curve is welcome to those new to Monster Hunter. This game is honestly the game that we want. I feel like this is the perfect game to introduce to a first-time player. And then we can get into the iceberg that is Worlds or Rise, or if we're lucky, Generations, which is on the Switch. So I feel like Kino is correct about their concerns. I also don't feel like the game should be review bombed this way. It is sad, and we will have to see at the stream for the title update 2 to really see if they've addressed anything. But yeah, that's it. Thank you.